Hi guys, and welcome back to another video on the budget clubman build. See behind me, I've dragged the front subframe back out of it, and we're going to start trying to clear up this firewall a little bit, or bulkhead, whichever you'd like to call it, and see where we're at with it. We know there's a small pinhole at the bottom of it that joins to the toe board from the inside, which if you'd seen in previous episodes, you will know that quite well. I referred to it a few times. I'm going to clean it back now with the wire wheel, and we'll see how we get on with it. It doesn't look too bad. It's just one of those areas that on a Mini, especially a Mini, it seems to be quite genuine and not been apart that many times until now of its actual restoration. It doesn't look like it's been touched. It's still got quite flaky original black paint on it, which is a good thing. When I put the car back together and paint it, I'm going to stone chip that area. I think that's probably quite a good hardened area you should really put some good paint on. So I'm going to clean it back, I'm going to do the repair, and we shouldn't have to worry too much what it's going to look like, but we'll do the best we can because, like I say, it's going to cover the paint. So I'll get set up now and we'll get cleaning. Right, so I've simply gone over there like you just seen with a simple wire brush. We've got most of the loose stuff off. It just saves hitting it with the grinder and throwing all that stuff around when you don't need to. I have noticed there's a little bit more corrosion, but I did say in the last episode that we're going to, instead of taking that piece out, we're going to take probably the length of it out and put like a good length of steel back in there, and it does cover that length. So I'll spin you around now and I'll show you what I found. Right, so that's the hole there that you can see from the inside. The toe board comes up to about there. So I have found like a little tear in it here, which isn't good. All this is surface and it's come out really well. It's all clean back, so we can treat that. It's all good solid steel. All the way along there is pretty decent, and down to the bottom as well. It just needs a good clean back with a wire wheel on a grinder. But for now, I'm going to try and address that hole that we already knew about and this newly found crack here. So I'm going to cut this out. You can see the spot welds along here. So it feels pretty thin. I say that, it's good steel still, you can't just pull it off. So I'm going to just cut out my rough gap that I need, my rough line, go around there, all the way down and come back down there, and then I'll put that whole piece back in, I think. So, and we'll go from there. Right, so you can see there I've gone over the wire wheel now, it's come up really nice. I can clearly see where I need to be able to cut the piece out now and make my template from a new piece of steel. Yeah, it seems to be quite a good tactic doing that. Once I've done the bit of welding, which is the only repair this bit needs, I'll then go over the whole engine bay like this and go from there, try and get the engine bay in some some zinc primer. It's my preferred sort of primer to use because I think it fights the moisture a little bit more, protects against future rust. So we're a long way off that yet, but let's get this little section cut out, see if we can get another piece made and go from there. Right, so I've gone out and roughly marked where I want to cut. So I'm going to take that out now and see if we can get that section out. Right, so I've got that section out now. It's really not too bad behind there. I've used the spot weld drill bit, which I'll show you in a second, and basically taken out the bit I need, try and keep it nice and tidy. The toe board, like I thought, was in really good shape, so I've just cleaned off any minor surface rust that's on it, and we'll put that piece in, and hopefully that'll be the bulkhead repaired then. While I've got the welder out, I'm going to repair the little crack that's up there, as it just seems silly not to. Also, this is the worst part of my bulkhead. It seems like a very weird place to leak. However, given the hole in the top of the wing there, hence why we've opted to get rid of the swing, I feel like possibly sat somewhere damp and water's got in here. But this is the area that is most affected. And I'm not too sure yet how I'm going to make up this profile, because it does curve there and then it sort of comes to a stop, curves back around there, and then this stays flat and down to the top here. So no, all this is solid. It's just, I need to sort that out. It's where one of the heater pipes goes through. So if anyone's breaking a Mini, or there's an accident damaged Mini or anything like that I could have that section out of, I'd massively appreciate that. I don't want to obviously have to buy a bulkhead for that reason. It's a bit silly. And if I can get that section, maybe if I can have the whole bit, I will just put that piece back in. So please put in the comments below or private message me via my Instagram page if you do have anything like that. I'd be massively appreciated. Thank you. Right, this is the drill bit that I was on about. This is a basic spot weld drill bit. Basically got a point there, and then this is flat. So I've used this on many cars now. It was, to be fair, not an expensive one. I think I actually bought this in an NEC restoration show. It came in a kit with a few different sizes, but this is primarily the one I use. It seems to be the right size for the mini spot welds. So grab yourself one of these guys, because it does make things a lot easier when taking panels off. Sometimes you just can't see the spot welds, but the trick is go over it with a wire wheel and you should be able to see where all the defects are in the metal to be able to find the spot weld. Right, so we're at the point now where I've cleaned back the metal on the car. I've left some rust treatment on that just to get rid of anything else that I can possibly get rid of on it. And then I'll zinc prime that, and then I'll weld the plate over the zinc primer, so it's got a bit of protection now between it. But I'll spin you around now and I'll show you the panel I've made up to go in there. Right, so you can see, basically replicated it. So you can see where I've drilled out all the spot welds. That's what was, there was the split originally, and the holes that we could see from the inside were there. But this is my new piece. Basically just made it out of some sheet steel that I've got, and I've drilled the holes at the top and used a hole punch as well to achieve this. So if you haven't got one of those in your toolkit, but definitely get a hole punch. It saves a lot of time. But this will be primed up as well, and we'll get this in. Right, so we ran out of gas. Nipped out to get some more. Let's get back on with that. It's going well so far. Right guys, so you see me there, just weld it in. Not the prettiest of welds, but you can see I've got the plug welds in and it's sort of been seam welded. I've sort of done a bit, stopped, done a bit, stopped. I had to turn the temperature down a little bit on the welder, it was getting a bit hot. But yeah, I'm really chuffed with that. I'll spin you around now and I'll show you the inside of it. So we've got good penetration across the toe board, which is what we wanted. Honestly, that's gonna, it's gonna get linished right back. So I'm not a welder, I'm not a professional. I am another one of you guys in a garage. So yeah, looking at it on the inside, really chuffed at that. You can see the plug welds penetration all the way through, and hopefully that's that sorted. Right guys, bring you back in. I've done that bulkhead repair now, and while I was at it, I've actually welded up the small little crack in the inner wing that you might have seen in the first introduction to this car. But I thought, while I'm sat in that awkward position in the engine bay, I might as well weld that up as well, and that's gone bang on, exactly what I wanted. So I've just ground back these welds. Like mentioned, I'm not a professional. I'm merely in here, and my welds get better and better as I do them. So it's the fact that you get the good weld penetration and it's solid at the end of it. You can dress back things if you really, if you're not a show class welder. But at the end of the day, this is going to be covered in stone chip and paint and primer and whatnot all over it. And then you're going to have a bloody great engine sat in front of it. So who really cares what it looks like down here? But we'll do the best we can, because at the end of the day, if you can't do your best, there's no point having a go, is there? So I've done my best. I'll ground it back now. I'm going to put some primer on it. I think before I do the primer, I'm going to go over the rest of the bulkhead, clear back any surface rust, get some cure rust treatment on it, and really try and make this, this engine bay starting to look really good. So other than the top repair we got to do, where I've sort of put that little slide in of, I don't really know what to do about that yet, we're sort of getting there with it. So yeah, I'm not sure whether on that top part, whether to cut it out, try and make a template like I did with the bottom repair, but it's just so many different profiles in it, I don't know if I'm capable of that yet. But I could surprise myself, you never know. So I'll show you now what we've done. Right, so there's my repair. You can just see it starts there and goes along there. Obviously all that's going to get cleaned back. I'm really quite chuffed with that. That's a good solid bulkhead now, and I'm really chuffed. So the rest of the surface, and then in that top corner there, I've seam welded that back, and this inner wing is properly solid again now. So I'm really chuffed at that. You've seen the inside, so we've got good penetration on there. Now I'm going to go over the rest of this engine bay and try and get it looking a bit tidier. So I think I might replace this. If not, I might take it off, gently clean back behind it, and then put it back on. So, but that is my next engine bay issue. If it focuses, there you go. My next engine bay issue. So now we've got the bulkhead all cleaned back with the wire wheel, and the repairs done apart from that top one. I don't want to leave it like that. It's just going to be open to the elements. So I've gone on to this cure rust, which is my normal point of call with rust treatment. It's really good stuff. I've simply poured a bit into cap, an old aerosol cap, and I'm going to put it everywhere I can. You'll quickly see it start changing, and starts going like the metal basically starts going very dark, and then you clean all that back and you should be left with good steel. Sometimes you need to repeat it more than once, but it's really good stuff. So I'll stick you on a time lapse now, and we'll get this cleaned, well, get this cure rusted, cleaned, and then primed. Right, so it might look like I've gone a bit overboard, but I'm nearly there with the rust treatment for the first pass. I'm just going to put some around the radiator cowl there, but I'm pretty chuffed at that. Yeah, it should do its job. I can already see it turning the steel. You can see where my repair is, so it's obviously the freshest steel, but it's doing its job, so I'll be really chuffed. Catch you in a bit when hopefully we clean this back and get some paint on it. Right guys, I think that just about wraps it up for this episode. I've got some zinc primer on everything now. I do appreciate I've got that repair to do there, but because the car's in the elements a little bit, I didn't want to take any chances on things getting worse. I spent the whole afternoon sanding the engine bay back, using cure rust to sort the surface rust out. And it's taken a bit of time, obviously I shot this episode together over a period of days. So you can see down there, I'm really chuffed with my repair. You can't even see it. I'm really chuffed with that. That's literally just been ground back. That's not got any filler. I didn't see the point of putting filler down there. But I'm quite shocked with how that's come out, to be honest. I'm really quite chuffed with that. So just need to sort that out next, and then the engine bay's done. It's looking really nice. I'm really chuffed with it. Right guys, once again thank you for watching. This has been a bit of a bitty episode, i.e. I've done it over period of about 2 or 3 days really, all in like a few hours on each day. Obviously I've got to wait for things like rush treatment to work, then sand it back, and if it doesn't work, repeat. So it's not a quick process, but nonetheless it's a good process, and I'm chuffed with the results. I've just shown you the engine bay there. I'm really chuffed with that bottom repair. Just got the top repair to do now, and the engine bay and toe board are good. So the next step will be floors on the toe board, and then obviously the front panels to sort the front end out. But for now, that's another job it's cost your supplies basically, you know, and things like that I've always got on the shelf. So I'm really chuffed at that. So thanks again for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe. This obviously is going to take a while, so there's loads to come, loads of panels to replace, and loads of methods I'd like to try and share with you guys. Right or wrong, that's how I'm doing it. So thanks again, have a good one.